This is my top 12 anime Eyepatch characters. English is not my first language, so please bear with me, and let's get to it. So I'm just gonna apologize in advance here, just like I did for my English, but Japanese is not even my third language, it's a language I don't know at all. So the mispronunciation of Japanese names is inevitable. But yeah, here we go. My number 12 on this list is Minene Uryu from the anime Mirai Nikki. She's this low on the list because I never really knew if I hated her or if I had to like her in a weird way, but in any case she was definitely overshadowed by Yuno Kasai. As cliche as it might be, Yuno Kasai was a character that I liked a lot.
Yuki.
Okay, so maybe I don't like Yuno the way Yuno likes Yuki, but I still like her a lot. I kind of wanted to put Mirai Nikki on here because at the time I watched it I really thought it was an enjoyable anime. I mean, it has an incredible amount of plot holes and inconsistencies, but it's nevertheless a great watch if you don't overanalyze it. The story in this anime is about 10 candidates in a game of life and death. Each one of these candidates has their own future diary, which is a phone that can predict the future in a way that one would normally write in their diary, and each individual has their own version of the diary. They all have their own conveniences and all have their downsides as well. Minene has a so-called escape diary because she's a terrorist who's on the run a lot, so it would make sense for her diary to be written in a way to get out of situations. She plays quite a big role in the anime, and she even got a whole volume about her in the manga. This particular manga was only a little part in the anime, but it was a nice little side story. Give this anime a watch if you're into survival games and you like popcorn flicks, or yandere girls perhaps. So the next one on this list is Ichigo Saotoma from Mayochiki. Ichigo doesn't really play a big part in this anime because she's just one of the maids and she's never really in the spotlight or of any importance of the story. She made it on this list because her character design is really gorgeous. It's expected of Studio Field to have nice character design, but this is just enjoyable to look at alone. Other than the really pretty art, it's basically just your generic and basic harem in a lot of ways. The main character is a sissy who's allergic to the touch of girls because his little sister always beats him up to the point he gets a nosebleed. One day he finds out that the popular and acclaimed handsome butler Subaru Konoe is actually a girl when he walks into her when he goes to the bathroom. He then finds out that Subaru kept her gender a secret because that was the only way she could stay in the household of her mistress, by being a male butler. Him finding out that she is a girl puts her whole job at stake, and they then have to work together with her mistress, who is a total sadist. I don't recommend this anime because it's not really good or enjoyable, so I'd be lying if I said go watch it, it's fun. But the concept is okay at best and the execution is even worse. The ending is very open and doesn't give a satisfying conclusion. The art is pretty, but that's pretty much the only thing that's going for it. Kaneki Ken is probably one of the most famous ones on this list because he's from the anime Tokyo Ghoul. The anime came out not too long ago and it has been on a major hype train ever since it came out. The thing I liked about this anime was the beginning, when Kaneki turns into a half ghoul and he comes to terms with the fact that he's not human and neither ghoul. He refuses to eat human flesh, but it's a struggle for him. Because we get to see this perspective of someone who is a human but also a ghoul, it kind of raises the question for us, like, who are these bad guys? Are the people the bad guys or are the ghouls the bad guys? I kind of liked the first half of the anime, and I even thought that the last episode was kind of interesting of a conclusion, but the second season just completely ruined it for me. Another thing that bothered me in this anime was that people were always saying that the manga was better. I mean, it's okay if the manga is better, you can tell people the manga is better, but at one point you have to shut up about it. I mean, at one point it was just like, everyone started reading the manga just so they could say the same thing and just go to the comment section of any video about the Tokyo Ghoul and be like, read the manga, peasants, it's so much better. I recommend this anime for people who like zombies or ghouls or stories about people who have to come to terms with themselves. Mimsy is the side character from Shirobako. She's actually the doll of the main character that always stalks her in her head, so whenever the main character is stressed out or in trouble, she takes some comfort into just talking with her doll. I know it sounds a lot weirder than it actually is, so you should just watch the anime and you'll see what I mean. Shirobako is an anime about making anime. You get to see how much work and effort goes into making an anime and how many different branches everyone is working on just to get together this one anime. If you are at all interested in how anime is made, I definitely recommend to watch this anime because it's enjoyable and very educative. King Bradley is from an anime that is even more famous than Tokyo Ghoul is. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is ranked number 1 on my anime list. King Bradley is not a very lovable character and I can't really talk about him without getting into any spoilers of the show, so I'll just tell you something about the show. Full Metal Alchemist was a manga that was written by a female writer, even though it's a shonen manga. It's about two brothers who have committed the ultimate taboo in alchemy, and one of them loses his arm and his leg because of it, and the other one loses his entire body. In the anime, they start looking for the Philosopher's Stone who could supposedly help them regain their bodies. Normally, I wouldn't really recommend the shonen anime, but this one is done so well. The storyline is really unique and it has a reappearing plot. It has some unexpected plot twists and it's really dark and even disturbing at times. The characters are easy to like and I recommend this anime for people who are just getting into anime and want an anime that kind of sucks them into the world of anime. Sakura Mitsukai is from Bokusatsu Tenshi Dokuro-chan. Mitsukai is the big sister of Dokuro, who is basically the main character. She's not a lot in the anime, but it's kind of short to begin with. It's only 4 episodes long, cut right in the middle, so it's basically just 8 short episodes. I don't even know how to describe this anime, to be honest. It's so bad it's good or something like that. Just watch this clip and see what I mean. So if you weirdly like that, and if you can stomach the same joke over and over and over again, I recommend this anime for you. Mei Misaki is one of the main characters in the anime Another. It's done by PA Works and it's incredibly pretty to look at. This anime is pretty gory and it starts off with Misaki Mei, who is kind of a mystery. At the beginning no one seems to see her except for the main protagonist. Secrets slowly start to unravel as we keep on watching this anime while saying goodbye to all our favorite characters who are dying one after another, and we start making some guesses ourselves about where the plot is going. The plot isn't waterproof and neither is the conclusion of it, but it's still a very enjoyable anime to watch. If you're into dark themed anime and want some eye candy, you should watch this anime. Zanki Natsume is a side character in Inuboku SS, but that didn't stop him from being my favorite character in the whole anime. He's cheerful and he always brings some lightheartedness to the anime, and sometimes he was so funny it made me laugh out loud. He was actually voiced by Miyano Mamoru, who does a lot of wacky anime voices, and it fits the role perfectly. This anime was filled with cliches in a lot of ways, but it still felt kind of unique because the overall ambience was just different than the average anime. It even kind of makes you want to be there as well. I'm guessing the manga has a lot more to say than the anime since that's 11 volumes long. I haven't read it yet, but I'm hoping for some better character development in that. The anime has some character development as well, but for me it always seemed either too sudden or too slow for it to happen. Or maybe that's just me. This is a romance that is not too cheesy. If you want to watch a lighthearted romance anime, you should really try this one. Natsuo Sagan is one of those characters who starts out as an enemy, but then when he loses a battle against the main characters, he becomes nicer and we get to warm up to him. Loveless is an anime where I kinda wanna say read the manga, but that's just because I like the manga a lot more than I like the anime. The manga does cover some story parts that the anime obviously doesn't because the manga ran for a lot longer than the anime did, but it still has you craving for some answers and solutions because it doesn't really answer all of your questions. The story of this anime centers around Ritsuka, who's kind of trying to find himself. His mother is abusive and his brother is dead. He can never really relate to the people from his age or the people in his class, and he's not really looking to make any friends. Then one day Sobi comes to visit him and tells him he was a friend of his brother's, and that he now comes to serve Ritsuka instead. They then form a team of Sacrifice and Fighter and get into spell battles with other duos. Ritsuka tries to get closer to the solutions behind the mysteries of his brother's death as he slowly gets closer and closer to Sobi as a person. The art style in the anime is a lot different than it is in the manga because the manga was written by Yun Koga and she has this really adorable, cute, different art style, and the anime didn't quite capture it. Especially when you look at the eyes, how they were drawn, it's like in the anime it was a lot more stiff and blocked than it was in the manga, but even so. If you like anime that is a little different from your average anime, and you like characters with cat ears, then don't skip out on this one. Chihiro Shindo is from EF A Tale of Memories. She's absolutely adorable and one of my favorite characters in general. This anime also happens to be done by my favorite studio, so I may be somewhat biased. The backgrounds in this anime are stunningly beautiful and they really make up for the somewhat lacking character design. Chihiro is a girl who loses her memory every day and she spends her time sitting at an empty train station every day. This is an extremely sad anime and it makes you feel lonely when you place yourself in the shoes of the characters you're watching. Each individual character has their own story to tell and has their own deep background. It features things we can all relate to, like being scared of losing someone you love, or unrecruited love. Things like that really make this anime great to watch. I might be hyping this up a little too much because I like it so much, but it does have its plot conveniences and it does have some flaws. If you watch the first episodes and you're not feeling it, you really shouldn't try to finish it because you'll need a connection with the characters to actually care enough for them to be sad about them. If you want a tear-jerking but heartwarming anime, this is definitely the one for you. Megumin is from an anime that finished earlier this week. Konosuba is a ridiculously funny anime. It's about this guy who's a total shut-in for all of his life, and then he dies in the first episode. He then gets to this place where a goddess offers him a decision. He can choose to either go to heaven, where there's no anime, manga, games, or fun whatsoever, or he can choose to be reborn as a new person, as in reincarnation. But there's one more option. He can choose to go to a world that's basically like an MMORPG game to defeat the evil king. With this decision comes the benefit that he can choose to bring whatever he wants from any world ever. He then chooses the third option as we expected, but then, as we didn't expect, he chooses the goddess to come with him. She can't refuse because she has to give him exactly what he wants, and she goes with him to this world. In this world they form a party with Megumin, who chooses to do explosion magic, but she's really terrible at it. The great thing about this anime is that it never takes itself seriously, and it's a breath of fresh air after seeing so many anime about MMORPGs. If you're up for some laughs and you just don't want to think too much, then watch this anime, it's really great. So now my favorite anime Eyepatch character ever, Rika Takanashi. She is a moe character and she plays in the anime Junibyo Demo Koika Shitai. She has a very unique personality and she has what they call an 8th grader syndrome. What this means is that she's living in her own delusional world in which she has a tyrant's eye. She uses a colored lens in one eye because that is her so-called tyrant eye, and she covers it up with an eye patch. Rika shares this fantasy world with her best friend Hikomori, who is also a very cute character. Rika is clumsy, Rika is forgetful, she's not very good at being social, but she's so cute. She's very fond of Yuta, who lives in the same building as her, and she goes to the same school as he does. Rika's background story is kind of feelsy, and everything in this anime is just absolutely adorable. This is a sweet, innocent romance anime that everyone who doesn't find it too cute to possibly handle should give a watch. If you've already come this far and watched my whole video, please give it a like if you liked it, and give it a dislike if you disliked it. Thanks for watching!